this one, traded for my first big win. Jonathan Fink on the line tonight, with a pack in hand and a story that bites. Old paper, new spark, name on the card, from basement deals to a full-on start. Collected and connected, collected and connected.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jonathan Fink, and this is the Sports Card Collectors Club podcast. And joining me today for episode 7 is a very special guest. We got Matt Viles from Dapper Labs and NBA Top Shot. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan. It was a pleasure meeting you in Summer League, and we talked for a long time, and I'm excited to continue the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we actually got to share a panel together live when Paulie was hosting a roundtable, and that was a lot of fun. And little did I know that you were a fish head. You know, I mean, come on. I liked you. I liked you when I first met you, but our friendship has grown ever since because we have so much in common.
Absolutely.
And we both love to collect. And so I knew as soon as we met, you were going to be a guest of my show sooner or later. So it really is awesome to have you here.
And I think this is the first time you're seeing my background here with some of my collections.
We're gonna have to get into that because I do want to talk to you. I mean, look, your tag name is vinyls. Like you got to have a vinyl collection, right?
I sure do. do.
So we'll get into that. Don't worry. I got a bunch of topics written down. We'll save music for last. We can't forget that this is a sports card trading show.
Absolutely.
We can't let fish to overcome us too much.
Don't worry. I have plenty of I have plenty of trading cards all over my basement here. I've got every collectible you can imagine. Wherever direction we go, I'm prepared.
That's awesome. All right. Well, usually when we start the show, we each get to display what we're going to rip tonight. Now, I am assuming, given your love for NBA Top Shot and your job there, that's what you'll be ripping tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct. And
right.
We can share my screen here, and I can give a little preview for everybody about what they're going to see here. So,
all right, let's do it.
I spent a good bit on the PAX Marketplace earlier today. And so we have a rookie debut headliners pack where we can pull a Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, Brandon Miller, the Thompson twins. Anybody from that draft class is in there. So we're obviously chasing the Wemby rookie debut there. Then we got this WNBA Fresh Gems Quick Rip. Now, this is one of my most open packs. And the reason why is I'm chasing Caitlin Clark rookie debuts and Caitlin Clark freshman gem from Fresh Gems from her rookie season. They are both still in these packs. I've probably ripped, I don't even know how many. I've probably spent hundreds just chasing after it that I could have just spent buying it on the marketplace at that point. But it's more fun to rip.
Yeah, that's actually an age-old debate about buying the single versus ripping. They're two different things. They're two different things. Ripping is entertainment. It's an important part of the hobby, my friend.
Absolutely. Then we got Celebration of Stars Reveal Pack, which is well known because it has a legendary LeBron James anthology chase in it. So cool. We're going to be chasing that moment there. Then we have a rookie debut standard pack from this past season where we're going to chase some Cooper Flag, Con Knipple, Cedric Coward, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, the whole crew. And then last but not least, I grabbed a WNBA rookie debut standard pack from this season. I want to chase after an Olivia Miles rookie debut, see if we can land one of those. But
okay, so
that's what I've got for tonight.
That's awesome. All right, well, I will show what I'm going to rip. But I have a question that comes to mind right away, which is I'm guessing, like all fans, I know in 2 more days, Topps Chrome update for NBA basketball comes out in retail, and it's got the rookie patches of this class, and it's going to be. Yep. I mean, Dylan Harper's got a bounty of $1 million on his rookie patch, right? Auto.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting, but that's last year. I guess the NBA Top Shot viewers, they want to know when the next rookie packs are coming out. So is that on schedule yet?
Yeah, so it's going to be right at the beginning of next season. We typically have our first drop of every season is the rookie debut drop. Obviously, we need a little bit of time to pass the beginning of the season to make sure we get the plays, get them approved, get them in the pipeline. But we'll be getting out rookie collectibles within the first couple weeks of the season.
Got it. That's awesome. All right. Well, Before we rip your first pack, I got to show you what I'm
please
today. And I've obviously been teasing on social media all day. And it's to troll you, but also to also convince you that you got to give VFred the chance. Now, look, here's why this came up. Okay, when we were hanging out before we were on the panel together, we were just getting to know each other. What do you collect? A very common topic. And I mentioned to you that I've been working on a book called The Pokemon Gods Are Real. And I assumed that whole room was filled with, basketball fanatics. I didn't think that there would be people who would be into non-sports cards. And sure enough, you were into Pokemon, right? So when I heard you were into Pokemon, I thought, well, for sure then.
Keep going.
I thought for sure then you'll be down with V-Friends. And like a lot of people, you kind of balked. You were like, I don't know. And there's a lot of people out there that are still on the fence on V-Friends. And I don't know why, because I love it. Oh, let's see. All right. That's your own personal Pokédex.
Yes, this is the Galarian Gallery entire set. All secret rares, all full art illustrations. I got this frame custom made from a seller in England off Etsy that made a frame specifically for putting in raw cards. Each one has its own protective sleeve, hard sleeve, and they're not in number order. They're in order based on how I thought it looked the coolest, with like the 4 most valuable gold ones in the middle. But I just love collecting, and I have a bunch of stuff like that. I literally just took this off the wall from the other side of the room because it came up.
It's beautiful, and I can tell you
right here, but
right,
the fish went back up.
Right, it's beautiful, and you know what? That's when you know something becomes PC, when you literally get it, framed.
100%. So yeah, sorry, I had to show you that, but
no,
V-Friends,
that is awesome.
Please.
Well, yeah, I guess the point I was making is that for me, I was a very, very late bloomer into non-sports cards. In fact, it happened a couple of years ago, and I wrote about it in my upcoming book, The Flip Life Volume 2. And for me, the Trojan horse actually was V-Friends. And because I kept seeing Gary V on social media talking about what the product was really about, and I was very intrigued. And then once I got my hands on Topps Chrome Series 1, I fell in love with it. And that then got me into Pokemon, and I was interested in Pokemon because I saw over the years how the trade shows would be like, after the pandemic, it was like typically 90% sports cards, 10% Pokemon, and then it became 15 and 20, 25. I was at a show, a small show. It was small, but I was at a show a month or two ago. It was 90% Pokemon, right? So I love the economy. I've seen the bull market. I love the passion. So I had to write a book about that. But at the end of the day, unless you are an OG Pokemon collector and you've played the game and you know the characters well, or you've watched the movies, most of these people who are in, no offense, I think this is fair to say, but most of the people who are in the current game of Pokemon, especially the ones who are late bloomers who are getting into it because it's a bull market and they see the rising prices, they see flashy characters and they see prices that are rising. I don't think they even know what these characters represent, right?
They don't know how to play the game. They've never played the game.
Right. And so to me, when I came across V-Friends, you could say, oh, it's just, shiny characters with, based on zoo characters. It's Meta Zoo Part 2.0, but it's so much more than that, right? And to me, when I literally feature it in the book because it's so compelling, and I'm rooting for Gary V and V-Friends, and when I see them, at Fanatics Fest, and I see them, at the National, they're still, winning hearts and minds. It's still the early days. And, and in many ways, that's kind of a similar thing with NBA Top Shot, I noticed, because even though Top Shot became really big during the pandemic, right? When the NFT, tide pulled out, NBA Top Shot kind of got swept up in that tide pull out too. But yet it's still in its early days. When I see Paulie interviewing people, it's their first time experiencing digital collectibles. And so I'm rooting for NBA 100%. Top Shot the same way I'm rooting for V-Friends, because I see how both of these are the future of the hobby, but for different reasons. Obviously they overlap. V-Friends started with NFTs, by the way. I'm sure
Yep, for sure. Oh, I know all about it. Yep.
But what I like about V-Friends is, as we'll get into, and we're going to literally go through his. When you rip sports cards and you get a common card, maybe you read the back like you used to in the old days. Maybe you toss it. Most people do. Well, even the common cards in V-Friends, they're so brilliant that I literally will read the back of every card. I'm going to read them all today because I want to show you how awesome this product is. And I want maybe also to help you think of the big picture, right? Like, my daughter just graduated college. My son's a sophomore in college. So I'm not in grandpa stage just yet. No rush, right? But like 10, 15 years from now, when my grandkids come over for like babysitting, sleepover or whatever, we'll be playing Pokemon. We'll be ripping V-Friends. And when my grandkid opens up an ambitious angel and she says, Grandpa, what does that mean? I'm going to explain what ambition is and what humility is and what hard work is and all of these interesting and important attributes that, frankly, as a grandparent and parent, you'd want all your kids to espouse and have in their being. And this is a product that is going to help inculcate that hopefully for a whole generation of humanity, because if this can go global, right? I mean, it really will make the world a better place. And not that Pokemon doesn't, but you know what? If the tides pull out and the Pokemon market crashes price-wise, will people still love Pokemon? Maybe the hardcore people will. But
Right.
the truth is, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but a 101 Erupt Black Cat just sold for $132,000. So the people who are into just chasing the shiny card and the big money, look, there's a huge bull market that's happening in VFriends, and it don't even knows it yet. So we'll get into that. So that's what I'm going to rip today, because I want to, help convince you and all the people who doubt VFriends why it is so awesome. And think of it, not maybe even for yourself, but we're all aunts and uncles, right? A lot of us are grandparents, and you got to give gifts. And if you want to give gifts of things that you because you resonate with them, like trading cards, what a brilliant concept this thing is. And by the way, they now have comic books and cartoons, the whole thing. But speaking just the cards themselves, every little card's a brilliant sacred relic of knowledge, and I just think it's brilliant stuff. So your stuff is probably more entertaining to the core sports card audience. So why don't you rip a couple packs first, and then I'll go next.
I don't know. You sold me pretty good there. I mean, like I don't have anything against VFriends. I'm actually pretty interested in it, and I'm excited to see it. And like honestly, like what I've seen from VFriends and the VFriends community is people are more excited about the pulls that they're getting, and they're not talking about how much they're worth. Yeah, and that to me is a green flag. I'm seeing a lot of products right now where everything is about hitting the valuable thing and making money. I've been collecting since I was 5 years old. It was never about making money for me at any point. Gosh, like I'm just looking around my basement here, just walls covered with concert posters and toys, and just like I have no intention of selling these things. I collect because I want to show off the things I love and do it in fun ways. And it just never crossed my mind that, hey, I'm going to go buy this thing just so I can resell it. Like that to me isn't a pure collector mentality. And obviously things change and times change. And, in order for things to survive right now, you have to have that sort of, chase for something valuable.
Yeah, it needs to be a circus. You know what? The truth is, I actually watched the live stream on eBay Live with Ken Golden and Logan Paul. They ripped a box of 86 Flair and a box of Series 1 Pokemon. And you know what? It was very entertaining. They're both polarizing characters. I thought it was entertaining. But you know what? After every pull, they immediately are showing the value. And and it begs the question, are we creating, not we, is the industry creating a gambling culture, which has a real downside?
It already has.
Right.
Not creating. It's here.
Yeah, and that's a concern. I guess for me, I hope to be an influence where we focus more on collecting, because you know what, when markets crash, collectors don't get hurt at all. Because the Sandy Koufax you bought that because it makes you feel good. It brings back good memories. 100%. It's not about the money.
And this is why I spend the money on the packs. I could go in the marketplace and save money up and go buy it from the marketplace, and maybe that's the fiscally responsible thing to do. To me, this isn't gambling because I don't intend to sell these things.
Yeah.
I get a rush if I hit it. It goes back to like when I was opening Skybox cards and right. I would hit like the players I want to hit. It was just so exciting. Like I pulled out a bunch of One Piece cards here.
Interesting. Cool.
What I've got it really into. One Piece is my favorite anime.
Interesting. Yeah, One Piece has become huge.
Ever.
So huge.
When I was working in the New Jersey court system, I had to take a train to and from work. And one day I just started reading the One Piece manga from issue number 1 and read it all the way through. And, that became my thing on the train, was just like reading manga and getting deeper into Japanese culture. And then I went to Japan and it was just like, overload. But like,
so like the fact that One Piece is now becoming relevant, it's taking up, I'd say it's now at the national, I wasn't there this year, but people have said it was about 5% of the market, where last year it was 0.
Yeah.
This is the real deal, right? It's now finally penetrating the mass
I have
consciousness.
Tons of them. I have tons of, like, I have boxes and like every single expansion they've come out with. I've gone to my local card shop and I've bought a booster box. And when I first bought a booster box, it was like $149. I went there for the latest one, $350.
Well,
retail.
to be fair, for people to know, GameStop has become like a local card shop. They adjust their prices now. They used to sell like MSRP, like when you go to Target, you know the price you're going to get. There's the manufactured suggested retail price. Now GameStop, and by the way, you've noticed their stock price is going up because they're finding ways to make money. One of the ways they're doing is that when Pokemon ETB, which should cost $55, they're now charging $80, as if it's MSRP. So
Right.
This is just FYI. But unlike Pokemon, you can't get One Piece anywhere else than a local card shop, right?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. You can't find it anywhere else. You can't find booster packs anywhere. Like the
I
booster
think you
packs,
can
they were selling
sometimes
for
see
like $20 a piece.
Right. I think maybe sometimes you can see it at a Target or a Best Buy, but in very short supply. So it's gone in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and my local card shop won't let you buy more than one at a time because it's so in demand. It's pretty wild what's going on with it. I mean, the art's incredible, and obviously I have a deep attachment to the material. So very similar to Pokemon. I grew up watching the cartoon and playing on my Game Boy, and like I was deeply rooted into Pokemon before. I had the Shadowless Charizard. I had all of them. Like I was buying Pokemon cards from day one. I don't know what the heck happened to them. I'm sure they were thrown out at some
tragic story
point.
for many people, right?
I'm sure I played with them like they were my other toys when I'm smashing my GI Joes and my Transformers together. I'm sure I was doing the same thing with the cards. I know, gasp! Oh my god, I can't believe Matt did that. But I mean, we've all done that in the past. But yeah, crazy times. All right, let's see if I get a Cooper flag here.
All right, let's do it. Fingers crossed for you.
All right, here we go. All right, Yegor Joman, I should say. Good Nets rookie there. All right, Musa Diabate. DeAndre Ayton. Anthony Black. Shaden Sharp. Oh. Cam Johnson, fresh threads. Nice little number 7 serial number there, though. So that's good. But
yeah, but the bus packs are needed because then when you get the good ones, you appreciate them a lot more. You got to suffer a little bit when you rip packs.
Big time. I've had really, really bad pack luck over the years, which is fine because when you're right, when those big hits happen, feels even greater. You can see here, I have the entire set already. So
the big hits is what keeps you going after like blowing all your money.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting. It's true though. Like with Topps Chrome Football, I bought a ton of it. I even sold some at my trade show that I did. But like for most of the time, I would say it was bust after bust. But then I would pull a Jaden Daniels, new special insert, which was worth I sold for like $600, and I wound up like breaking even on the whole thing. And if you're doing it for entertainment, which is why I do it. And now, of course, I do it online. I do pack openings. It's a business expense, so I found a way to justify it to even my own wife, right? And my accountant. But I just love the experience of ripping, and it brings me back to my childhood feelings. Like I remember when I was in in the 1980s in second and third grade, coming off the school bus, and ripping packs and trade. We used to play a game called Flip in the back of the school bus, and so I used to look forward to going to school. And I remember losing cards all the time. I remember just like with opening packs, I remember the big win, and the joy would last for literally a week or many days, right?
Yep.
So that's why you keep coming back to it, and because it's we love that feeling, and so for me, I think that's why I love ripping packs, but I also love baseball history, and for as much as I do enjoy the modern stuff, because I'm just a sports fan, I love the junk wax, which by the way, you could buy so cheap. All these hot boxes now cost, like NBA hoops, the 2026 going at Dick's Sporting Goods is going for like $350. Now it's expensive to buy, like the 92 hoops. That stuff is expensive, but like when it comes to baseball, you can buy like a 1989 score box for like $20, and I get just as much
score,
joy.
Fleer, Upper Deck.
Right. Yeah. I'm actually been storing that stuff because that'll be a whole another project down the road. But to me, it's about ripping and enjoying what comes out. It doesn't have to be expensive. So in my new book, I'm going to try to point that out, that this doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. It becomes an expensive hobby for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be. Even at the National, you could spend your entire time looking through dollar bins and you'd be busy the whole time because there's so many. Yep. And it doesn't have to be about chasing, the Jordan 89 Flair, which by the way, if you look at the price from the last couple of years, I mean, I did a post about this today. It's up like, 50 times in the last decade. I do fear that we could be entering a major bubble because the prices of everything, and by the way, it's not just sports cards. You know, Bitcoin was at 120,000. That's rolled over. Silver and gold have rolled over. And so I feel like, well, is Pokemon and sports cards next? And if that's true, everyone at the National is constantly buying all these Jordan cards. They're buying them at the all-time high. And again, if you're a collector, it's no big deal. If you're buying this stuff for investments, I fear people to get burned. And if you're new to the hobby, what a horrible way to start your experience is getting burned on a card. I wish people were collectors, but I see how the industry, you know, if you go to the National, it's all about spinning the wheel and getting freebies. Whatnot has taken over a whole section. So that culture, but look, that culture's been around human nature since like the Romans, right? We've always loved to gamble and speculate. It's human nature to do that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I got into breaking with this guy, Sam Smith, I think his name is. He ran a breaking business called Card Smith's Breaks. And we're talking, at least 10 years ago, probably longer at this point, probably 12, 13 years ago. So that's how early I was to breaks. And this guy just like would buy the boxes and he would have his stream, and he had like his, little e-commerce website where you could buy into the break, and some breaks where you pick your team, and he, had the teams priced based on the checklist of the product. Or, you could just buy a random team and he would randomize the teams, obviously. He used to do it through random.org. He would just run it through 7 times and it would show who everybody got. And I got super into it. I was like, this guy is opening, National Treasures and Flawless and like, all this super, super high-end stuff that I'm never going to shell out to open.
Yeah, you can't afford it.
Topps Triple Threads was one of my favorite breaks to get into. Still one of my favorite products.
But just the 76ers, that actually does make sense, especially for a true collector, because if you really want that team or a certain player, then it makes sense to just buy, I'll just buy the Royals. And so I think that from a utility standpoint, breaking provides a very valuable service in that regard.
100%, because most people aren't going to go out and buy those boxes. They can't afford it.
They can't afford
it. I can't afford to buy a $15,000 box. I could afford to buy $150 spot in that break, or whatever. I don't remember what the prices were, but like I had a lot of breaks where like I was just like, okay, like got some cool stuff, awesome. I had a lot of breaks where I got nothing, and then one day I hit this 1-of-1 patch booklet from the Heat versus Spurs NBA Finals.
Whoa.
It was Ray Allen, his finals patch from Game 6 when he hit the 3-pointer in the corner to force Game 7, which the Heat went on to win the championship. He doesn't make that shot. The Heat lose. The Spurs win. The history of the NBA is completely different in my mind.
Did you keep that, or did you wind up selling it eventually?
I sold it, and the reason I sold it was at the time I had my eye on some very valuable Philadelphia sports cards, autographs and patches at my local card shop. And I'm like, all right, let's see what I can get for this. I wound up getting $10,000 for it. I don't even know what it's worth now. I don't want to know. I had actually, Sam took care of it.
Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
He sent it off to PSA for me. It got a 9, which I was thrilled with. It was a 1-of-1, but I just wanted it like authenticated because it would, I really needed it to be a big win for me, so I could go out and get like, I got like a Mike Schmidt, I got an Eric Lindros, I got a really cool Chase Utley card, I got I'm trying to think. I got an Allen Iverson rookie. I got all sorts of like incredibly cool stuff that's in my PC forever. Oh, I got LaShawn McCoy patch auto, rookie patch auto. I got all sorts of cool stuff. And to me, and I had money left over, of course. And I was so happy about it. It was like, it wasn't even about the money. Like I never go into these things expecting to hit a windfall. It was just fun. To me, it was just entertainment. I would literally put the stream up on my big TV, a YouTube stream up on my big TV or a Twitch stream. And I would, sit there and drink beer and watch the stream. And
like, it's entertainment.
I would literally have friends over to watch and cheer for me, hoping that my teams would come up so we could get all hype and excited about it. It became like instead of going out to the bar and drinking, we would just hang out, we'd order in food, and we watch breaks. Like
absolutely. Speaking of which, let's rip a pack now. Here's what I like about ripping packs versus breaks is this. When you do a break and you get nothing, you feel so disappointed. When you do a rip on Top Shop, even if you get a bust pack, you're still left with something that you can then trade for scrap value. It's worth something. So I just like how you get to enjoy you get the proceeds, whatever is there, you know. And so when you break, yeah, you can get big, but you also can get nothing in it. That's disappointing sometimes.
Right.
But,
And I don't sell anything ever, but somebody could rip a pack, and let's say they spent $20 on it, they can probably get $15 or $17 back instantly. I mean, instantly. Don't have to worry about, you know, keeping the card in good shape. Don't have to worry about grading. Don't have to worry about shipping. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff, which is one of the things that originally drew me in. It was like, oh, this is a no-brainer for me. I hate doing all that stuff. I hate going to the post office. I hate having to stress whether or not somebody's going to try to do a chargeback or whatever, because my whole thing is like, I have all this stuff. I'm going to sell it to get the stuff I do want, which is exactly what I do with Pokemon, exactly what I do with One Piece. I sell the characters I don't want so I can get more Luffys or get more Zoros. Like that's how I collect when I do sell in certain areas. But like Top Shot, I was never a big seller at any point. Even before I worked for Top Shot, I was like, I'm good. Like I remember I sold some stuff early on so I could get some Ben Simmons and some Joel Embiids and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I just, to me, it's all about, you know, getting what I need in the PC. So, you know, to me, it's just fun. It's just
all right, here we go.
Fun.
Pack number 2.
Right.
Good luck.
We got Koulibaly. This is Bilal Koulibaly's sister. This is her rookie season in the WNBA. Pretty cool one there. Madison Key, another rookie. Nice little 88 serial there. Kia Jackson. Julie Vanloo. And Shakira Austin. Very solid pack here. 2 rookies. 2 rookies I actually didn't have yet. This is one of the only rookie sets I don't have fully complete yet. I've been slacking. So
what would be so give us an example for the viewers. Like what would be the reward when you complete that rookie set? What will happen? You get packs, you get
so you'll for rookie debut, if you complete the set once the challenge is live, you complete the challenge showing that you have the whole set. You lock the set for a 1-year period. You instantly get a pack that could have a whole bunch of stuff in it, including one-of-ones and like big hits, just for collecting the set.
Right.
And you know, I always say, like when we talk about like building out these type of experiences, I'm always talking about like, man, the amount of sets I have completed that I've never gotten anything for, that I have the set and I enjoy the set. The fact that I'm getting something for completing a set, to me as a collector, is like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, like I'm already collecting the set. This is just like gravy. So,
the NBA Top Shot platform is brilliant that way, where it's designed to incentivize collecting. One of the things I love the most is how it's built to allow community. You know, when I was at the Summer League and I got to meet, you know, Jake LaRavia, I did a post of our picture together. I said, now I got to start PCing Jake LaRavia. And then I started getting people sending me moments. And so I have a PC now of Jake, because people like Levi, who eventually I had on my show, on my rep session show last week, who's at Oklahoma City, big Top Shot guy. And he gifted me stuff. And so it's so cool how there is a community that exists virtually, but it feels just as real as being someone in person at a local card shop. It's really brilliant stuff, you know. And the blockchain has allowed this to exist. It's really wild what technology has done, you know, for collectors. Honestly, it's just amazing. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to turn off your second screen for just a minute, and I'm going to do a couple of pack opens, and then we'll go back to you.
Let's do some V-Friends, please.
But while I open this box and get a couple of packs out, I'm going to ask you my first formal question, which I had written down ahead of time. Like throughout the day, questions started coming to me. And my first question was, LeBron James going to the Philadelphia 76ers. Are you kidding me? I know you're a huge Sixers fan. Yeah. What does this mean for the team? What is your outlook? Are we going to the NBA Finals? Give me the breakdown, Matt Finals.
I mean, I can probably count on one hand the amount of sports news blast I've gotten in my life where I got full body chills.
Wow.
And like, I knew it was a possibility. I saw that we were mentioned every time it came up. You know, I literally had Polymarket and Kalshi up on my screen 24/7, watching the odds go back and forth, seeing whether or not somebody had insider information. I would see the Sixers go up. I'd see the Sixers go down. I'd see the Cavs go way up, the Warriors, the Heat. And I was just watching it like a hawk. And then that notification came through, and like I was on a meeting at work, and I was like, all right, I gotta go. And I literally just got off the meeting, and I just like literally got up and just started running laps around my basement. Like I felt like a little kid again. Like LeBron James picked Philadelphia. Like what? And so, like, we Bryce Harper chose Philadelphia. That was an absolutely massive deal. That was another one of those, was like, wow, Bryce Harper chose us. And over the years, Philly has always been talked about as a place that people don't want to go to, and it's talked down on. And obviously, the Sixers have fallen on some quite hard times. We haven't been to the finals in 25 years. We haven't won a championship in 44 years. So like, it's one of those things where growing up, when I grew up, I was born in 1986. So growing up, the Phillies won in 1980. The Sixers won in the 82-83 season. The Flyers won in the late 70s. And the Eagles, the last time they had won a championship was 1960. So I was 22 years old before I saw a single championship, which was the Phillies in 2008. And then I've been blessed to get 2 Eagles Super Bowls since then. But I've been a Sixers fan above all else since day one. Nothing would mean more to me in all of my sports fandom than the Sixers winning a championship. I would not be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Practice.
I had the answer shoes. I played in my JCC league exactly like Allen Iverson. Like no care for my body, just left it all on the line. So Sixers winning the championship this year would mean everything. And for LeBron to pick the Sixers, I've obviously got to shout out Mike Gansey and shout out Brad Stevens for gift wrapping us Jaylen Brown. But I've been a huge Jaylen Brown fan for years. In fact, like I've always been the hot take guy. Like, hey, Celtics don't win the championship without Jaylen Brown, which shouldn't be a hot take because he was the Finals MVP. Yet still people are like, no, it was because of Tatum. Okay, sure. To me, it was always Jaylen Brown. It's always been Jaylen Brown's team. Tatum may have like the Kobe connection and scores more points and is a more gifted scorer, but the guy who's grinding the wins out is Jaylen Brown. And now we have him. We also have LeBron James, arguably the greatest basketball player in the history of planet Earth. We have Joel Embiid, who has stretches where he's as good as Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, rock chalk.
Yeah, and then we have exactly, the Kansas connection. We have Tyrese Maxey, who's already a multi-time All-Star and All-NBA, and VJ Edgecombe, first team All-Rookie team, third in Rookie of the Year voting as our starting 5. It's just like, suffering through the process, suffering through the quadruple doink of Kawhi Leonard, Markelle Fultz forgetting how to shoot, Ben Simmons refusing to shoot, Brian Colangelo being forced on us after Hinkie was taken out, Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris feuding. Like it just goes on and on and on. We've just suffered.
It's funny you mentioned feuding. When Jaylen Brown got traded, everyone was saying how he doesn't get along well with Joel Embiid. He called him a flopper and all that stuff. But you know what? When you bring LeBron James into that locker room now, I mean, that chemistry is going to be off the charts. Now, I guess the only issue would be, like when I was talking to Levi, who's an Oklahoma City guy, he's not too thrilled with the LeBron signing, right? He's a little threatened by that. But his feeling was, well, do they have the depth? And that's a good question. Do you think they have the depth? They can still make moves. They can still, right?
Yeah, I mean, we signed Dean Wade, who is one of the best on-ball defenders in the league.
Russell Westbrook, I heard's a rumor.
Westbrook's not coming. No chance.
Not happening.
So the Sixers right now cannot sign another player until December. We have $1.8 million in cap space, and we can't, because of the way we did our transactions, we can't add another player unless we do a trade. So we would have to trade away like a Justin Edwards or a Trendon Watford or one of the guys with like a low salary in order to make it work. But we signed Anthony Simons, who is an unbelievably gifted scorer. We drafted LeBaron Philon, who is a great ball handler and a gifted scorer. He's going to take some time to develop. I don't expect him to get a lot of minutes early on. But apparently he grew from 6'3" to 6'6" since the draft or something crazy like that.
I believe it.
And then we signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who had some down years, but he was on teams that weren't competing. And, KCP was part of that Lakers championship team. He was part of that Nuggets championship. Like the guy is, a gifted player. And then, on the bench, we have Don Barlow and Adam Bona and, Justin Edwards and all those guys, which, they were solid for us last year, but on this team, they're going to have a lot less expected of them. I can still see us making a move to get another big man potentially, but yeah, I mean, if we can stay healthy, that's the name of the game. If we can stay healthy,
yeah.
should
I'm
be there.
excited for you. I'm excited for Philadelphia. I'm excited for the league. There's been so many moves this year.
Yeah.
I mean, John Morant in Portland. There's so many things happening. I feel like the league, even if the Knicks might be the incumbent and who's to even say if they're expected to win it again? I think there's so much parity going into this year that it's just going to be a great season for everybody because there's so many different personalities now scattered. It's just fantastic. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've been following your posts about like the sim league that you do. And I was going to say that like me and my uncle always talked about what would be the greatest day in sports every year. And to us, it would be on July 1st, every year, every team loses all their players and there is a fantasy draft where the rosters get redone every single year.
Yeah.
And to me, that would be the greatest day of the year. Like, oh my God, where's everybody going? Like, I mean, any sport it would work, but in basketball, it would work the best just because they're tight rosters.
Yeah, everyone's a 1 year free agent, 1 year contract.
Every year's 1 year contract.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for everyone in the chat who's watching. I did see one comment in the chat from Thunder Hour TS who said the streaming connection was struggling where they were.
I think it was when I was showing the video on my screen. That was me being
enough.
choppy.
I think it's chat having a problem. Let me know.
I think it's a StreamYard thing. Yeah.
Not much I could do about it if there was, honestly.
Yeah.
But for everyone who's here, because I was teasing V-Friends, they want to see some V-Friends packs. Here's my first pack. First, we got the Hustling Hamster. Now, here's the thing. On every card, they have what's called the competitive advantage. Okay? So the competitive advantage of the Hustling Hamster is keeps the wheel turning at all times to get closer to achieving its goal. Now, some of them are a little goofy. This one actually is a homage to Gary Vee. He actually got started in the wine business. I don't know if you know that. His dad had a wine, but they were Jewish immigrants from Russia, and they moved to Queens. Eventually, moved to New Jersey actually, and he took his wine business from like this little struggling business to this $1 million empire by going online and then getting on YouTube, becoming a YouTube personality, talking about wine. So not all the characters are kind of like these zoo animals. Here's one which is kind of like the last glass standing, and it says, "A true survivor, effortlessly maneuvering through every toast and clink." All right, here's back to an animal. Here's the determined dolphin. Knows progress comes from showing up, not giving up. Come on. Oh, we actually got a hit. This could be the hit of the day, unless you pull something good soon. We got a genuine giraffe out of 75. So just for people who don't understand this is pack one from a mega box, which was 6 packs of 7 cards each. I think the megas retail for like $50, right? And I'm just guessing with this card, it might be a 30 or 40, maybe even a $50 card, and we just broke even in the first pack. So for people who are just loving the chase, now remember when it's very interesting. Like I'm actually working on a chapter for a book called this. Okay, let me test this out on you. Ready? Here we go. So this is hot off the press. It's called the Superstar Density Thesis. Okay.
Okay.
So whatever sport you play, if you're looking to make money, you're looking to pull the big names, right? Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, or if it's Cooper Flag or whatever.
Right.
Okay. And so in baseball, you have a pitching rotation and a bullpen. So that's like a dozen guys. You have your starting 9 and a bunch of bench guys. So there's basically 27 guys on the MLB roster. So 27 times 32 is the potential pool of players that can be chosen. Okay. And NFL, you have 11 on each side. Okay. So again, you're talking, over 20 players each. Now with basketball, you're talking 5 starters and the bench guys, you're talking only 14 players per team. So the odds of you pulling the LeBron James or the Steph Curry, the superstar in the NBA products, whether it's Panini Select or it's Topps Chrome Update, whatever it is, the odds are higher because of the mathematics of the fact that there's just simply less players and on the same amount of teams. Now, where the WNBA gets more interesting is that it's even less teams. So right now, it's the infancy of the WNBA. So if you're looking to pull the Caitlin Clark or the Paige Beckers, 101 or the numbered cards, now is actually the best time to be doing it because the product is still in its infancy.
Yep.
Now here's my point when it comes to VeeFriends. Okay, now VeeFriends has been around for a number of years. They did NFTs. They've done sticker releases. This is not only Series 2. When Series 1 came out, Topps didn't know if it was going to be successful or not. So there was not a lot of print. The print run was small, and therefore the $25 blaster boxes were going for $75 in 2 months. Now they're like $400.
Yep.
Series 2 they printed more, but probably still not enough. So therefore, the product that are out there right now for Series 2, if you can get your hands on it, I don't think the prices have actually done as well as Series 1. They're still pretty low, but they could still rise because a lot of the mega hits have not been pulled yet. So because the float is small, it's sort of like the WNBA superstar density thesis, because I pulled this at 75, and this could be, a $30, $40 card. I'm not sure to pull it up, look it up. I should probably have card lighter on a second screen for the hits, but we're not going to do that because we're going to collect this. All right. It's not about the money. It's about collecting. But I'm just saying that if you're in it for the money, VeeFriends happens to be a very compelling thesis. And so for all the haters out there, if you're actually doing this to get dopamine hit and pull a banger, buy VeeFriends. Okay, so this is
I just saw the Panini just did the Moonbirds drop online, sold out in 7 minutes, and I saw one sold for like $25,000. So people, there are collectors of everything out there.
And by the way, have you heard of this new one called Pal World?
Yeah, Pal World. It's like a Pokemon sort of ripoff.
Right. It's Pokemon prices have gone down in the last month, and people are saying that one of the reasons amongst many is that Pal World is getting pretty popular, and people are now starting to chase that and spend their money elsewhere.
Interesting.
So anyway, here's the competitive advantage of the genuine giraffe. Not admired for their size or status, but rather by how real and open they are to others. I mean, come on, this shit's brilliant. We got the. Now this is an X Fractor. So if you're familiar with Topps products, X Fractors are, they're not like super special illustration rares or super special imprint, but they're inserts. They are rare, but they don't, unlike in other products, they don't really trade at a huge premium right now in the market, but they should, because there's less of them. But the Wily Wall board competitive advantage is this: combines clever strategies and quick thinking to outsmart opponents. All right. Here's the macro micro. I'm not exactly sure. I guess they're two little, a big B and a little b.
Okay.
And the advantage is rare ability to see 20 years ahead while acting fast right now. And this is a funny one. So they actually, in the comic book series and in the cartoons, they have to have bad guys. They have to have villains.
Right.
But it's so brilliant. Even the bad guys are cute, and they even have redeemable qualities. Okay. So here's the cynical cat. I'm pretty sure he's one of the bad guys.
Okay.
Assumes the worst, but uses it to avoid being blindsided in any situation. Right. So it's probably, actually, to be fair, having a little bit of cynicism is probably very healthy. When the government rolls out vaccines, maybe be a little cynical at first.
Right.
So I'm just saying. Okay, pack number 2.
All right, let's do it.
And then we'll turn your screen back on, and you'll rip some more.
Sweet.
All right, the gracious grizzly bear chooses to be kind and courteous even when their strength could overpower.
So when VeeFriends started, wasn't it just hand drawn by him?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I write about this in my book. The hand drawings eventually got auctioned off at Sotheby's, and they each went for over $100,000 each. They went for mega money. This was literally Gary Vee, probably bored in high school, sketching characters in the binders of his notebook. Yeah. Gary Vee's always one of these characters who he didn't learn anything in school. He learned it all in the street, at garage sales and doing trade shows. He did it. He learned from the old school way. Yeah. And actually a lot of the characteristics of these characters are based on him, because he's been successful and he's reflecting on his life, and he's got an idea where the nice guys will soon finish first, right? There's always been this feeling that guy's finished last, because if people are willing to beg, cheat, and steal, they'll get ahead of you. They'll elbow you out, But the truth is, Gary knows about karma, and karma is a theme in a lot of my nonfiction books. And look, whether you want to, however you want to think about karma, and by the way, all the religions have different names for it. What goes around comes around is the same idea, right? And the truth is, the nice guys who have good karma, who do good things, I actually really agree with them that nice guys can finish first. The guys who with the bad karma might appear to be finishing first, but it's only temporary. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Alert ape swings
Oh, that
through
one's cool.
obstacles with razor sharp instincts.
I like that.
Pea salad. Even small wins feel like a championship for them. X Factor. Mint Mink leads the way in innovation, agility, and seizing new opportunities. I think the NBA Top Shot character is the Mint Mink.
The mint mink.
Oh, here's a
I
fun
like
one.
it.
Now, this is funny. The word woke means different things to different people, right? So they use a different word for woke. Woke walrus navigates chaos with calm, spotting patterns and opportunities while others don't. Oh, here's a good one. This is the kind of card that you want your grandkids to pull, so you can talk about this one. It's
Helping
a helpful
Helpful
hippo.
hippo.
Like when they're in preschool and stuff, kindergarten, makes things better by stepping in when help is needed.
Love it.
And my last one is the warm Wolverine. Creates an environment that makes anyone feel at home.
Lovely. Yeah,
Gary
I
V.
mean, I get it. I mean, I totally get it. It's one of those things that like it's such a new IP that like as it builds out, it'll catch on more. And like obviously I've known about VFriend since the day it launched. Like I'm so ingrained in everything that happens in Web3. Like I was all over that. I was a holder of that. And so like I haven't bought a box of Top Chrome VFriends, but maybe I will. It looks like fun. It looks like something that would be fun to rip with my son and read it to him, and like we can have a bonding, because like every night when we're laying in bed trying to go to sleep, we'll either rip a pack of Top Shot or we'll rip a Disney Pinnacle capsule every night. And it's just, he knows how to tap, he knows how to swipe, he knows how to do it better than most people probably do. And it's just really nice to bond over. And I was watching the chat here and I saw Paulie asked it in the chat, comment your favorite non-sports card in the chat. So real quick before I open another pack, for me, it's the 1991 G.I. Joe cards. Ooh. I have the whole set. It was my pride and joy. It was the first set that I ever did on my own. Before that, it was always baseball sets and stuff with my dad. But that set, like I was determined, I would go to garage sales looking for them. We'd go to flea markets looking for them until I had the whole set. And we counted, made sure we had every number. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when G.I. Joe becomes an intellectual property that's turned into trading cards, like my inner child's gonna be like going berserk, because I really did love G.I. Joe. So real quick, let's give a shout out to the chat and let's read off everyone else's favorite cards. We got a Charmander Scarlet and Violet promo. David Jackson 838 writes 1990 Aunt May Marvel. Johnny Barnes just wrote Andy Griffin cards. Paulie wrote Real American Hero. Chilez 69.
I think he was responding to my G.I. Joe cards.
Oh, right on.
Real American Hero.
Chilez 69 writes Pokemon Crystal Nigoking from Aquapolis. That's awesome, dude. Oh, TNMT cards, the 1990s. The chat is waking up. Let's go. I love it. Let's go, chat.
Yes, love it. Oh, that's yeah, great, those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards are cool too.
You know what? Having the chat, like I do a pack opening series called Car Life Chronicles, and I do it live. And I have mixed feelings about doing it live, because if you make a mistake, you fumble your words, you act like an idiot, then it's on there forever, But I've kind of gotten used to it with the live shows like this. The truth is, the reason why I love it is because of the chat. You can have a chat, and so it's still new, and I do it spontaneous. So it's not like I have a ton of people watching rip packs, and I just kind of replay them on YouTube. But it's so awesome to be able to interact, because this hobby, the community aspect is integral to this hobby, And so that's why I kind of started the show Rip Sessions, because it's kind of like a virtual. I've been influenced by NBA Top Shot. I think a lot about digital collectibles and virtual settings now, and what I've learned from Top Shot is that a hobby community can absolutely exist online and thrive. And so with the Rip Sessions, the idea is it's a local card shop online where we're sitting around a table and we're just ripping packs together. And whoever shows up, people can kind of come and go, kind of like Rip Night at Tops,
Yep.
We're having fun with it. We'll see where it goes. But
you got to start somewhere, right? Like
that's right.
And Gary V always says, like, he started from nothing. He had a few viewers on YouTube and just exploded because he's stuck with it.
The truth is, I dedicate Volume 2 to him because of the whole VFriends thing. But I really should dedicate my next book to him. I'm dedicating it to somebody else. But I give him a lot of credit, because even though I have an MBA. Oh, look at that, dude. I have a business degree. I have an MBA in marketing, and I've done guerrilla marketing. I write about it. But Gary V, his motivating talks are the reason why I was willing to become a podcast host when Paulie asked me to do it. And it was the reason why I was willing to start doing pack openings is because I realized, like, if a tree falls from the woods, did anyone even hear it? If I write 15 books, but no one even buys them, what's the point? What am I doing? I write them, I do it for my own love and joy, but I do write with a purpose. My books have a mission. And I realized, like, I spent 10 years writing the books. I should probably spend some time marketing them. And so when Gary Vee started showing up on my feed, first it was his VFest material, but if you follow him, he has like 30 different channels. He's got his Uncle Gary Vee. He's got different, different lanes that he's trying to put through
different
content.
Personas. Yeah.
But I love all this shit because I really benefit from his motivational talk because, I always joke, if I was good looking, I would have been an actor. I wouldn't have been a writer. So it's like, who am I to go on, put myself out there on TV, whatever. But it was guys like him who really kept, if you see those videos enough, it will motivate you. And then the truth is, he's been right because I've seen the results. I've seen my book sales rise. Even recently, what's interesting is I'm noticing now that it's not just like the new book is selling; they're all starting to percolate, and it's all because I have more of a social media footprint, which I didn't have before. And while I give credit to Paulie for putting me on the map and giving me that platform to do it, it was Gary Vee which gave me the confidence to say, you know what, F it. So what if my friends think I'm a goof? This is my life, this is my passion. Totally. And maybe there really are people out there that might enjoy my personality and what I have to say, right? And so, like,
absolutely,
it's been so much fun doing it, and and I've gotten over the the insecurities of it, and so with Gary Vee, rooting for his product to be successful, it's not personal because he really has helped me personally, and so I want him to get rewarded for his good karma for helping other people, and so I want him to have all the success.
Yeah, his X posts like motivate me every day. Like I just read them, I'm just like, you're right. Like every time I read his post, you're right. You're 100% right. And I think Gary Vee and I are very close in age. So like, like everything he's talking about like resonates. We had very similar upbringings, very similar backgrounds. And so he's definitely somebody I look toward and respect greatly. And
so if he's watching now, shout out to Gary Vee. I did tag him on one of my posts, but he's a busy guy. He has like I saw an interview he did.
We'll get a clip out to him. We'll get a clip out to him.
I think he's so busy, dude. He has 3 assistants. Could you imagine?
Oh
like, does Elon Musk even have 3 assistants? He runs.
I'm sure he has 10 times that.
Like 10, right? No, Elon Musk probably has it. He probably has a robot doing it now, all for him.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah, Alan and Ginter was a great set. Levi, awesome set. Every year it's fun. All right, so we're chasing after the Wemby rookie debut here.
All right, this is a big one.
This is a big one.
Now, a Wemby did get pulled at the National, correct?
A legendary Wemby from his rookie year, rookie revelation. Yeah,
got it. Yeah,
probably
on Paulie's video. That's awesome.
Probably his most expensive moment on the platform. Yeah. Oh, bang! Let's go.
Play that video. Let's see that.
Right off the rip.
The first one. That's incredible.
Oh my god, it's gonna be a choppy video, but holy crap! I haven't pulled the Wemby rookie
debut.
Now
we have the hit of the show.
I literally just bought this pack this morning just for this. Like, if we weren't getting on, I wouldn't have bought this pack today.
That's the NBA Top Shot guys at work.
Oh my goodness!
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Holy moly! First career points.
That is awesome. Now, how many of those? There's 4,000 exist of that?
Yeah, 4,000 exist, but several have been burned. So this isn't showing the current circulating count. Maybe
can you explain to people what that means when someone burns a card?
Yeah, of course. Let's see here.
I'm so happy you pulled it though. That's awesome.
Oh, did it?
Not that it matters, but what's the current market value?
$174 is the low ask right now. And let's see how many are in existence here. Here we go.
Yeah, you can't have an episode where the guest does not pull a cool moment. You gotta have something good happen where the guest, kind of, hits a banger.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was
Mr. Kicker 23 writes, Wemby never pulled one. I'm sorry, Mr. Kicker.
Yeah.
Maybe your luck will turn around soon.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so
the chat's lighting up. Paulie writes, no way. This guy writes, what a hit.
The live stream gods.
Fungi 66 says send it over. The live
Yeah.
stream gods are real.
273 have been burned. So I mean, they're still.
Explain what that means. Explain that
Yeah,
when you burn a card.
So yeah. So we call it burning. I think we're going to move away from the burning moniker. To me, burning is not really a collector centric term. Think of it this way. There are trading events where you can trade in a moment, and when you trade in a moment, you can get potentially other things. And we have auctions where you can trade in your moments to get another moment. You can upgrade your collection. You can take a lot of one thing and make it into one big thing. And so people do this in all sorts of different ways. We provide all sorts of different avenues for people to do this, and people can submit them. When they submit them to us, we destroy them, lowering the amount in existence for the rest of time. And part of it is, if you think about cardboard and you think about why is the Mickey Mantle 55 so valuable? Because 99% of them have been destroyed or thrown away
in the Hudson River.
Right, are gone forever. And so we didn't really have a mechanism to do that when the product first started, and now we do. And so over time, it's going to get lower and lower and lower, and it's going to get to these rarity points. And it's up to us to make sure we continue to do things that make it worth trading in something of this value for something else.
Yeah, I think that a rebrand of that term is a good idea, right? But the fact that you have that technology component is important, because you don't want to ever become junk wax 2.0, right? You have keeping the scarcity is important for the supply and demand dynamics to stay tight, and it's that tightness which creates the vitality of the market. So if the market gets flooded, then everything will become worthless, and then you lose your golden goose. You want to keep it tight, right?
Yeah, and for the chat, Friday Burns are coming back. For those that don't know, we just did a massive, and I mean massive, migration. We migrated our entire back-end systems to a new system. So everybody's seeing the new site and all the stuff going on. It's because we've migrated the entire product onto a whole new back-end. The old back-end was 6 years. It was like a rat's nest. It's like when you have like all the cords from your computer and they're all knotted and you can't figure out where things go. That's what it was. And now we have this new backend that's allowing us to do things quicker than we ever have. But not everything has made it over, but everything's coming back. Don't worry.
Is that technology shift in the back end also consistent with the fact that now your digital collectibles can be traded on other blockchains, as opposed to now that they're not like a slave to this one blockchain? Because if NBA Chop Shot ever shut down, you lose all your moments.
Right.
And now,
so yeah,
they can trade anywhere.
Yeah. So two things there. One, people are able to remove or withdraw from their Dapper wallet and move it to their MetaMask wallet, and they can sell them on OpenSea. We have the Flow EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. So basically, it allows people to transact Flow NFTs on the Ethereum network. And then the big thing that we did this past year, which I think is what you're referring to, is the IPFS, where we put every video, every image on a decentralized file sharing system.
Yes.
So people can go in and grab those as they need. Any site can go and remake these and show them anywhere. So that way it exists for all time. You don't have to worry. Like if NBA Top Shot shut down tomorrow, everything would still be there.
It's a critical step, right? Because it's taking this idea of digital collectibles to the next level. You want to really own it, not just virtually own it. You want to own it. And this allows you to do that. I think people want to keep their moments on the network where they got them. They want to keep it in the community, but knowing that you have true ownership of a digital asset, that gives it, I think, more utility. Okay, so sure. There's probably more moments in this pack. Keep going.
Yeah. All right, Cam Thomas.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to the chat. I don't know what this phenomenon is, Matt, but I've noticed that when a chat, when a show starts, people know when the show starts, but there's always like 0 people in the first 1 minute. And it slowly creeps up. But like we were in like the dozens for like the first 30 or 45 minutes, and now we're at 300. So the chat is now alive and well. I think the Wemby pull, it's got everyone excited.
Oh my goodness! I remember buying these packs when. No. This is the same one. I just went back.
I thought you pulled another Wemby.
No. One rookie debut in these packs, but like this is like one of the crazy things is I opened several of these packs and I think I got one Wemby out of like a whole bunch of packs. I haven't opened one of these in over probably 2 years. And boom, I grabbed one today, and there's a Wemby in there. It's just
Now, do
incredible.
these packs? And again, you might issue a pack in 2025, and it'll exist until all the packs are purchased.
Right.
Do the pack prices change over time? Because, like, for example,
big time.
They do, because like Wemby, we didn't know. Well, Wemby, that might be a great example. But like, let's take a Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
When he was drafted, everyone thought he might be good, but no one thought he'd be like one of the top 3 rookies, right? So
Right.
that pack now that his rookie card will now be worth more because we know like the market it doesn't have to. I mean, you could keep those prices static, but if you're probably smart business people, you make the packs dynamic. Just like when you go to a local card shop, the prices change because based on who's potentially in that pack. It's the same idea, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a whole packs marketplace on the platform where every pack that we've ever made, people can put up for sale.
Oh,
and
shit.
you can actually follow in real time.
So people can trade their packs too, and you can trade your packs and your moments.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, every pack that you buy is sellable on the secondary market.
Oh shit! Now it all makes sense. When
and they appreciate over time.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, let's see if the luck continues here. All right, there's one moment in here. Most moments in here are sub $1. I've paid between $6 and $12 per pack for this at least 30 or 40 times, chasing after Caitlin Clark's because I want to rip a Caitlin Clark. I need to rip a Caitlin Clark.
Sports card gods, you've been so good to us.
Please
keep it going.
Come on, one time. Nah. All right. Hey, this is what happens most of the time, and it's okay because I just hit a Wemby, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm still glowing in the Wemby aura. I'm cool with the bust.
But we have one more one moment pack where once again it's going to be a sub $1 or it's going to be a LeBron James legendary anthology. Who knows?
Right, here we go.
That's the fun of it. Here we go.
Bummer.
Nico
but you know
Conchar,
what?
Top Shot cool, debut.
But what is cool is that a manufacturer like Topps, they're physically setting out these products. They have to choose ahead of time. Is it going to be a hanger box, a blaster box, a hobby box, a mega box? And then like they get released, and every pack's going to be the same. And you guys have the flexibility to have a pack with just 2 cards in it, or 1 card in it, 10 cards in it, and it's all based on what's in it and what the chase is and what the value you want to charge for that pack. But that makes this so much more fun because you can make the product.
And I can go back and relive every pack I've opened. I can go back.
That's funny.
Every pack I've ever opened, I could just go back and reopen it and experience it again if I want to.
Yeah, because the blockchain is forever. And by the way, I was listening to an interview with the NBA Top Shot founder and Adam Silver, the CEO of the NBA, before this interview, kind of prepping, and he was like. Even if you buy a card or open a card from a pack and you've owned it and then you sell it, the blockchain is going to track every different owner. And so like you're part of that history of that lineage of that card, that moment forever. So even once you like have sold it, you're still part of that card. Like you still have an emotional connection to it because you're literally in the DNA of the blockchain, right?
100%.
Yeah, that's just cool. It's just it's not your card anymore or whatever, but like it's still
the provenance is so cool. Like these Mickey Mantles, like like some of these high end ones, there's like really good provenance. You know exactly who had it all along. But there's so many cards. Like how cool would it be to know who every owner was? Who was the person that opened it out of a pack? Who was the person that like owned it? And before it got big, and who's the person that owns it now? You can see all that. It's all on chain. You can see the owner.
Dude.
Like people know that Harrison Barnes owned a moment before they did, or Josh Hart owned a moment before they did. Like you can see all that, or Roham owned the moment.
The blockchain's all about truth because it's so transparent. You'll also know who made money flipping it and who lost money, right? Like when Logan Paul says he buys a card for $5 million and sells it for 15, we don't really know. It was a private transaction. It was on the blockchain. Everyone knows what was paid for it. And so it's kind of like, it's kind of awesome. It's in a way, it's like this age of Aquarius. We're living in this time when technology is providing, more communication than ever, but also more transparency than ever. That's really brilliant.
Yeah. So it's my screen that's making us choppy, everybody. Don't worry. I'll get it off in a second, but I just want to show Jonathan this. every pack we do, you can see exactly how many commons, rares, legendary, ultimate are in the packs. But you can also scroll down and see every single moment that you can pull in the pack and how many are in there. And on the pack marketplace, you can go into any pack. You can go into any pack and there we go. Let me just turn that off so we can talk through it. All right. Should be back now. So we can talk. Oh, I'm so choppy now. Are you choppy over there, Jonathan?
No, I'm you're crystal clear.
Okay, there we go.
It
Okay.
might need you just to transition.
Yeah. I think it's this screen that I got. So anyway, if you go in the pack marketplace, you can go into any pack and you can see exactly what's still in there. So like in cardboard, you have an idea of what's out there, but you don't know how many. Here, you know exactly how many are in there. You know exactly what % chance you have at any moment in time of pulling the thing that you want.
So there's still risk, there's still uncertainty and probability, but there's calculated risk.
Right. You can even go into a specific moment and go to the analytics, and it'll show you every single pack it's still in, and you can click on the pack, and it'll bring you right to that pack to decide whether or not you want to buy it based on the odds of how many packs are left and how many of that moment are still in those packs.
Amazing. It really is amazing. You know, and it's funny because I'm thinking about how it's still a new technology, but yet your kid, when he goes to bed at night, he's opening digital packs. He's just clicking on his iPad, right? This next generation that hasn't even gotten into elementary school yet, they're going to know a whole different world.
Right. This level of transparency is what cardboard is missing, and cardboard will never have. It's not possible for cardboard to have it. Period. End of story. Not possible. The fact that we have that, to me, in and of itself, is just beyond anything cardboard can do. Is in terms of a collector. Like the fact that, the way that I picked the packs that I picked today was I thought about the moments I would love to hit. So I went to Wemby's rookie debut. I went to the analytics. I scrolled down. I looked at all the packs where there was still one in there. I went to that one. I was like, all right, there's like 58 in there. All right, this price seems pretty reasonable compared to the prices of some of these other packs. Let's go for it. And I think I paid like half of what that moment is worth. But to me, it was worth the chase of potentially getting the Wemby because I knew how many. It wasn't like, oh, I hope there's still Wembys in here. I knew exactly how many were there, so I was able to make an informed decision, a calculated decision. Like, hey, it's possible. And sure enough, it happened. We didn't get anything else. Everything else was garbage. Sorry, not garbage, but like comparatively speaking, like nowhere near a Wemby rookie debut. And so it's like, okay, this is a lot of fun to do things this way, especially if somebody loves ripping, loves the thrill of getting something big. Like, yeah, I'm got my hands in the air. Like,
you pulled the Wemby.
They pulled the Wemby. So, like, to me, that is just such a huge part of this and all the analytics that we have available, and more are coming. And shout out Neil. I think somebody already called him out. Neil helped build this site called Own the Moment, which no longer exists, but it was a deeply analytic site. Amazing. I spent every day on it pretty much. And now Neil is here and putting all these things in our product day after day. One of the hardest workers in the whole company. So shout out Neil if you're listening. Thank you for everything you do. Because these analytics make the product so much fun, more fun and so much stickier.
Awesome. All right. Well, we got 1,000 people watching now. This chat is blowing up, and it's because you're cooking. Fun Guy 626 says Matt is cooking, and you are. But now it's time for me to cook. We're gonna rip my third pack of V-Friends.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get you like one of those like Livy Dunn autographs or something.
Dude, you know what's crazy? It's funny you say that because they have some Mr. Beast and Livy Dunn and some famous people, and I've ripped a ton of this stuff. I still got more to go, but I have yet to pull anything related to Livy Dunn. So I like you put that into the universe. Sports
there we go. There we go.
But we're going to start with a stunned sun. Competitive advantage stuns everyone with a warm energy that lights a fire under them. Bubbly buzzard. Upbeat attitude turns tough moments into something easier to face. This one is like Gary V 101, bread and butter. Positive porcupine. Uses its quills to keep negative energy at a distance, protecting its natural optimism. Yeah, I mean, this is an important one too. When you talk about teaching your grandkids one day, this one's called Be the Bigger Person. Understands having compassion and empathy for others is the greatest comeback when they expect you to be nasty. That one's really, really deep. If you give that one thought. Oh, we did it again, guys. again, is it a Wemby rookie moment? No. But again, remember, this is the second numbered card out of a mega box, which costs $50. And this is a capable Caterpillar out of 99. Again,
Nice.
This has definitely now been a profitable box. This is probably a $20 card, maybe more. Really cute design. Competitive advantage is takes one step at a time, knowing he's on the cusp of becoming a butterfly. All right, here's a good one. 2 more to go. Hype horse brings energy that makes you believe that you can. Yeah, I mean, I read a lot about manifesting my nonfiction books, but like I think there is a spiritual component to it, but you know what? That doesn't have to be. The power of positive thinking is its own.
I mean, remember when The Secret was like the biggest thing in the world? Everyone was reading it. Like,
yes.
I know it was clowned on.
Not me.
In the same age of like Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul, which I read all those books. Like there is absolutely something to the power of positive thinking. There's also something to the power of negative thinking.
That's right. Yeah, if you say I'll never get that girl, believe me, you'll never get that girl, right?
If you convince yourself that you can't get her, you will never get her.
I'll never 100%. Get that job, right? I'll never get that.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, totally. You got to be amped up. Competitive advantage turns darkness into an advantage, staying energetic even when others hesitate. Good stuff. All right. So I have a question for you about NBA Top Shot, because if you look up your job title at Dapper Labs, it doesn't say like Senior Vice President of Strategy. It doesn't say Executive Director of Product Development. It says Executive Producer. Right. Now, when I think Executive Producer, I think of a production company, someone who's making TV and films. So talk to me about how you guys see your role, because that title tells me that you guys see yourself as different than maybe a tops company might see themselves. Talk to me about that role and that term, what that means.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I wear a whole lot of hats at Top Shot. I work across different IPs, different products, working different roles. And so I'm not sure that there's any one role that can define what I do. And, producer is kind of like, I started off as a marketing manager, and then I became a live ops producer when I first worked on Flash challenges back in the day. That was the first time I moved from marketing into sort of product. And then I sort of worked my way up from live ops to just straight producer, and I started building out campaigns with full marketing and working with a big group of people. And then I was lead producer, where I basically was the decision maker on a lot of things we were doing. And now executive producer is just kind of like overseeing everything that we're doing, making sure that we're building properly and sustainably. At the end of the day, like, my role is making sure that we put out a product that is fun, engaging, that people want to come back to, that people are proud of. And do I get it right every time? Yeah, of course not. Of course not. I never will. What's really interesting and exciting about this job is there's no playbook at all. Like, we're on the cutting edge. We're writing the playbook. And, we've seen many other companies do a lot of the things that we're doing. Some may do it better than us because they saw things that we did that didn't go well, and they got learnings from that, and they did it better. And that's great, because we're going to learn from them and we'll make ours better. And we're hopefully all going to make each other better in the long run, as we all wade through this new sea all together. And so as, executive producer, it's my job to be on the cutting edge, knowing what every company is doing. I jump into every drop that every other company is doing. I watch how they present the cards or their collectibles. I look at where they bring you after you open. I go to the collection pages. I try out the offer systems. I try out everything I possibly can, because to me, I have to know everything that's going on. I can't be ignorant, or I can't be like, oh, they're doing that, but don't worry about it. There are certain things where I'm just like, that's never going to work. We tried that. I know how that's going to end. I'm not going to make that mistake again. But there's other things that are like, that's brilliant. We can use that in some way. I see our Top Shot admins there confirming everything I'm saying, but shout out Sam. But to me, it's really about creating a fun environment. And when a lot of people have lost money, it's really hard to make a fun environment. And the team, to their credit, has been working day and night and weekends to make sure that we can make this product fun again. And you're fighting against a lot of noise at all times. And so just huge shout out to everybody that works on these products for sticking with it. There's been some good, there's been some bad, but at the end of the day, like, we get to wake up and work on Disney products or NBA products or NFL products, and it's pretty fun.
Well, I want to talk to you about, you mentioned the competitors who are doing stuff similar to you. I'm thinking to myself, if you guys own the proprietary assets of the NBA, who could be competing with you? But I also want to think about how I was watching some interviews from Paulie was doing at the National, and Top Shot is still in its infancy, because I see the interviews. People are still learning about it. Like, I didn't
100%.
know. People were in the hobby so much that they're going to the National. So the opportunity is still so nascent, right?
Yep.
And so it really is still kind of like an open field of opportunity. And making mistakes is, I used to have a boss named Mark Romeo. Shout out to Mark if he's watching. He always pat me on the shoulder and say, "Think, it's all in the spirit of continuous improvement." So whenever you're working with anything and you're working with others, not everything's going to execute the way you want, but if there's a spirit of continuous improvement and everyone's kind of buying into that mantra, then only good things can happen. By the way, this chat is now rocking. We got 1,263 people, and
Wow.
Obviously they know a lot about Top Shot. But my point is, like, when I see at the National, there's a huge opportunity now, because there's still a lot of people who have never even gotten into digital collectibles, and I'm hoping you guys are going to see a short-term ramp from that. But let's move on to another topic. Do you have more packs to open before we do?
Nope, no more packs.
Okay, then I'm gonna up another V friends real quick.
Let's
from
do
my
it.
V friends out there. I'm curious in the chat, how many of you are here for NBA Top Shot talk and rips? How many are here because I was promoting V friends? We'll find out. Let me know. Here's an organized ostrich.
All right.
Makes things easier for everyone by setting things up at once the right way. We were talking about how you got to make mistakes, but if you do it the right way the first time, it's great. But that's not realistic. Most people, when they're learning something new or doing something new, they're gonna hit some bumps along the way. And
100%.
It's all about how you handle those moments. Here's an African civet, moves with the radiant confidence of someone who knows they're great. Now it's interesting.
Have we got a single duplicate?
No, not one duplicate yet. And here's what's crazy: the series 1 had 100 characters.
I think it says 200, right?
It's 200, and they only repeated, I think, 50 of the original. So when I ripped series 2, it was a lot of fun because there were so many new characters. But
This is our fourth pack without a duplicate.
That's right. Yeah, it's so deep. And here comes another one. This is actually one of the important ones. Moral Monkey. While others look for quick wins, he chooses character, ethics, and the high road. Come on, that's just, to me, that shit is brilliant. Here's another good one. Like, when you run an NBA Top Shot, you're an executive there. You just have to think like you're an entrepreneur. Like it's like a startup, right? And I have my own publishing company. I have my own money management firm. So I run 2 businesses, and I think like an entrepreneur. And you always want it now, But if you're really going to build something for the long term, like for NBA Top Shot, who's going to build a community that's sustainable through all the highs, lows of the market and all that stuff, or for me to build a body of readers going to read my books, or how about this? I follow what goes on with my Instagram, my TikTok, and my YouTube, and I do enjoy when I get new followers, but it's also a grind, and when you start small, you appreciate every little new step, and then when you get
every interaction is meaniful.
The key is you got to be patient pig.
What a transition!
Yeah, I'm a professional over here. What are you talking about? I'm a professional. This is, understands the biggest wins come from knowing life is long. Oh, I got bad news for you. I didn't pull Olivia Dunn. We pulled this guy, Kyle Jackson. I'm not even sure who he is.
Monogrel. Yeah, he's a streamer. Yeah,
Mongrel. That's cool that he's that a streamer. See, think about that. A streamer started on day 1 with like no followers, and this guy has become so popular that he now has a card made after him.
In a Gary Vee set. Yeah,
that's amazing. Here's a meticulous magpie, another original. Takes simple items and through dedication and detail, transforms them into a beautiful nest.
Yeah, he's a British Fortnite streamer.
There you go. And the last one, Jolly Jacko. lights up any room with contagious joy, inspiring others to let their own light shine. Hell,
All right,
yeah.
you've convinced me. I'm gonna grab a
Okay,
box.
so a few more quick hits before we wrap it up at the 90-minute mark. You've been awesome tonight. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me. So a couple of quick hits. First, we can't leave this interview without at least addressing the fact we both love the best band in the world, Fish. You saw 2 shows last week. Give me your music review of those Fish shows.
Oh my God. Okay, so most people are not going to understand this, so I'm going to try to explain it in a way that's understandable and relatable. Fish has been around since 1983, and I got into Fish in 1993. There was an album called Rift. My dad got me into the band, and I just loved it from a young age. And I didn't get to go to a concert until 2003. I was 17 years old, and I went off to college in 2004, and they went on hiatus. Trey had some drug problems, had some legal problems, went into rehab, and then 2009 rolls around, and they're back.
2.0.
Yeah, 2.0, and it was just like I think they called it 3.0 because like 0304 was like the 2.0, and then I mean it's all very nerdy.
We're all a bunch of geeks, us Fish heads.
Yeah, totally. And so like they're back now, and it's like, oh my God, I have to go see them. And I toured with them. I've been to over 175 shows at this point. And I went back and I've listened to all the old shows basically at this point. And so what happened with these 5 MSG shows they just did, they are approaching 100 shows played at MSG.
Amazing.
And so this set of shows was their 92nd, 93rd, 94th, 95th, and 96th. Now, normally it's like, okay, great. But what they did here was they played each of those shows as if it was that year. So no songs that were played were from any time after that. So I went to the 1993 and the 1995 shows, and I saw songs that I had never seen before.
I did not know this, by the way.
Shows.
They did this. This is epic.
And like these guys have played thousands of songs. And what you have to understand is every single show has a completely different set list.
Right.
They never repeat the set list ever.
And you might not see your favorite song. You might go to 10 shows in a row and not hear your favorite song.
My favorite song of all time is Rift. It took me 22 shows to see that, which is one of the most played songs in the history of the band.
That's ironic.
And I just got unlucky over and over again. And finally I got it. And so like there's definitely a lot of parallels here. Yeah.
The reason why trading cards and Fish are so similar is because when you finally see Rift, it's like pulling the Webby Rookie.
Exactly. And that's what it feels like when you're there and you hear a bust out. And when I say bust out, I mean there are songs where you'll see where they haven't played it in 200 shows, 300 shows. They had a bust out the other night at Fenway Park. They hadn't played in 2,000 shows.
I saw that.
Melt the Guns by XTC. English Settlement, one of my favorite albums of all time. I have it on vinyl, obsessed with it. The fact that I missed that by 2 shows is sickening to me. They haven't played it since 1987, and they decided to play it, and they crushed it, and I missed it by 2 shows. But like that to me is like exactly when you're pulling like on Top Shot. I pull a pack, and then I see somebody buy another pack off the pack marketplace. And my pack had nothing, but their pack had a legendary. It's like, it's the same feeling. Like I missed it by 1 pack. I missed it by 1 show.
There's more similarities. How about the community? Community is so important to Fish.
So
important to the trading card
market. You see the same people
at
every show over the years. Like you recognize them. You don't know them, but like you nod at them like you know them because you know you've seen them 100 times before. And yeah, it's really
that's awesome. Now my curveball question for you is I know you love Fish. And whenever a new jam band kind of comes up through the scene, some of the Fish heads are like, it's Fish or bust. And they don't want to hear it.
I hate those people.
Other bands.
I hate those jaded vets.
Right. So I remember with Disco Biscuits, they got a lot of hate on them when they first kind of came up. And
Widespread Panic has gotten hate. String Cheese Incident got all the hate.
So now the new band that everyone wants to hate or love to hate is Goose.
Yeah.
So
I love Goose.
You do. Me too. I love Goose also.
I've already seen Goose 15 times. I love them. I just went up to Saratoga Springs to see two nights of Goose at Saratoga.
Oh, and Disco Biscuits opened up night 1.
First night was Disco Biscuits. Night 2 was Mo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was amazing.
Very cool.
A lot of fun there. I'm
I
going to
got a
be going to
chapter-
Goosemist this year, which is in Atlantic City.
Oh,
And in
perfect.
fact, Fish just announced 3 nights in Atlantic City this morning.
Where are they going to play?
October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at Brooklyn at Boardwalk Hall.
Oh, okay, perfect. Oh, wow, perfect.
I will be there. So if anybody is going, I'll see you there.
Not mine. I'll take. Okay, and then real quick, we all have, it's interesting. Paulie made a comment to me how it's refreshing that my online personality is my real name because I've been an author for a decade, so I just use Jonathan Fink. But a lot of people on social media kind of have tag names; they don't use their real names. And there's probably reasons for that. Who knows? But you do, I think, playfully, and you use vinyls, and that's because I know you love music. But that also must mean you love to collect physical vinyl records. So talk to me about your collection of vinyls.
Vinyl records and vinyl toys. So just a quick backstory on the name, since I don't think everybody's ever asked me about the name. So thank you for finally. I've been on like 15 podcasts. No one's ever asked me about the name. Real quick, here's the name. So about 18 years ago, I got really into Kid Robot. Which are like these little 3-inch vinyl toys. They had these called Dunnies, and they're done by all different artists, but Kid Robot. And then I got into all sorts of vinyl toys, and I was already collecting vinyl records. And so I got onto different forums to trade because I got duplicates because a lot of them were blind boxes. So I had to go on forums and trade. And I got into Mighty Mugs, which is another vinyl, and they had like G.I. Joe and Transformers and He-Man and all the stuff that I love collecting. And so my username on all these forums is Vinyls Never Die, which grammatically is completely wrong, but to me it was funny. It should be Vinyl Never Dies, but to me it's Vinyls Never Die, and that's where vinyls got shortened from. So that's where it all comes from. But for the vinyl record collection, I just remember growing up, my dad always, huge vinyl collection. And I remember we would go down and we listen to prog rock all the time, and we'd throw it on, and he would always say, you have to listen to the warmth. It feels like you're in the studio when you're listening to vinyl. And I still hear that depth in vinyl that I didn't hear on cassettes. I didn't hear on CDs. I didn't hear on mini tapes, if anybody remembers those. Even when MP3s first came out, it didn't feel like that. Now there's FLACs and there's like really lossless 24-bit FLAC files that gives you that vinyl feel. But like the little scratch of the record, like there's just something about it. And then the chase of finding all these old prog rock records. I have every Yes record. I have every Genesis record. I have every Triumvirate record. I have every King Crimson record. Like I've gone back and gotten the full catalogs. Right now I'm working on Cream. I have a really good copy of Disraeli Gears, and I'm looking for some other ones. But Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I have every single one. The Nice I have. So for me, it's a lot of fun. And then newer vinyls I started getting into. I honestly, I never even took them out of the wrapper. Like I got a whole bunch of Fish vinyls, and then I got like a whole bunch of Coheed and Cambria, and Between the Buried and Me, and like my music, I go across many different genres. But to me, like collecting vinyls was just a way of showing. Like I used to display them a little bit in my old house, not here yet, but I used to have like a whole display of all my favorite vinyls, and I would listen to them. So I would always change up what was on the shelf, and I would rank them. I had 10 vinyls, and I would rank which one was my number one vinyl for the time. And for me, it was fun. It wasn't for anybody. I wasn't streaming or anything. It was just like a fun thing I did for myself. So yeah, that's the story of vinyls.
Okay, so real quick, we're pushing on the 90-minute mark, but Paulie always once told me that if you got a great crowd going and your guest is available, then you should keep it going. We're not pushing 2,000 viewers. So do you want to go another 30 minutes? You're good?
Hold on a second. Let me just double check.
Otherwise, we got to wrap it up in 2 minutes.
Let me check here.
But yeah, little kid, you got to put him to bed.
It does seem like I need to go, unfortunately.
Okay. So we'll wrap it up. So
we can do a part two, though.
No, we'll definitely do a part two. What I'll do is, I'm actually, believe it or not, it's so crazy. I'm actually booked through the fall, believe it or not. But
all right, well, next time I'll open the V Friends and you'll open the Top Shot pack.
That sounds like you got a deal done. and we'll do it. We'll have you back on the show when the NBA season's about to start. That'd be a great,
I'll have a lot more
great
information for you then. Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
So with my last question, it has to do with our digital assets. Should they be considered securities? And I ask because Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who's from Shark Tank, he's become a big mega investor in sports cards, like 52 Mano, Jackie Robinson, Rookie Flair, all that stuff. And not only is he wearing them around like jewelry, he wants to create an ETF, a portfolio that will trade on the stock market like a mutual fund or an ETF would. So what are your thoughts about that? Can digital assets become securities like stocks?
I personally don't like that. To me, like even the crypto ETFs are a little crypto ETFs are okay. Like those are actual currencies. When you start doing ETFs based on collectibles, we're getting so far afield of what collectibles are. To me, it just sends a complete wrong message to collectors that, hey, you should collect to make money. That's all I'm hearing when I hear ETF. And we had this, people came after us, hey, these are securities, and courts ruled they weren't. And so I don't think it helps anybody to create an ETF. Like if you want to show off your 52 mantle and your 88 whatever, your Fleer Jordan, or whatever it may be, your LeBron exquisite, more power to you. But don't take people on the ride with you like it's Berkshire Hathaway or the S&P 500. That to me just removes the collecting part of it, and it becomes a fully financialized asset. It's no longer a collectible, and to me, that would be the beginning of the end of the collectibles arena.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it could be a potential omen for the peak of the market. Temporarily, the prices of Jordan, Mickey, all that stuff is off through the roof right now. But that's for another day. Let me just say this, Matt. We literally just surpassed 2,000 views. So I know we created a lot of NBA Top Shop new collectors today, and we maybe even converted some of those people to buy a box of V-Friends to enjoy with their grandkids one day. Who knows? We might have converted some V-Friends people as well. So listen, this was so much fun. You are an absolute gem. Becoming friends with you has been beshert, as they say. So God bless you, my friend. You take care. L'chaim and Mazel Tov, and we'll do this again real soon.
Shoebox lid, said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan sank on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites. Old paper, new spark, name on the card, from basement deals to a full-on star. Collect